And welcome to the Mrs. V Night Shift, and very excited tonight we have the beautiful Kelly Landry with us, presenter, radio host, everything else, and very mother, just extraordinary on many sections, looking around this beautiful house which has got so much taste and just a beautiful feeling here. Oh, so lovely to have you here, and we're going to be talking about the things that have shifted you in your life and what's been important for you. So let's firstly start. I'm just reminding you that it's the Mrs. B. just in case you forget. So here, let's talk about your day. How was today for you?
It was good, actually. Yeah, very productive. I've had sick kids for the last couple of weeks, and my eldest daughter actually had surgery last week. So I've had a child in the house basically every single day for the last 3 weeks.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yesterday was a bit of a recuperation day, which was nice and quiet. And then today I was back into personal admin. So I feel like I've had a very productive day.
Excellent. We love productive days. Because how many children do you have?
Two.
Yes.
And they're still both very young. They're 3 and 5. So
oh, wow.
it's very busy.
Yes, very busy. And I'm thinking about mine that's 25, so it's a whole different area. So yes, well, my day was very busy, and I seemed to do a lot of running around today, but not get a lot done. You know those days where you go, what did I do today? And then you sit down at 6 o'clock and look at your to-do list.
I know, I hate that.
I'm such a list girl. So
I love a list too. I write them in all different ways as well. Like I'll do one in my phone, then I'll do one in my diary, and then I'll write post-it notes. My filing system is very
it is. There's something about, but it's true. There's something about writing it out which just gets it really clear in your head. That's what I love.
There's a psychology behind it. To memorise things.
Yes, I must find out about that. So the next thing is, dear Mrs. V, I've had someone who asked me, which is asking a question around what is there something going on spiritually or kind of in the stars at the moment? So I just wanted to answer that with yes. There is some astrology. We had a full moon last week, and there's something big coming up on the 27th. So I think there's a bit of a kind of a palpable manifestation space for everyone at the moment. So it's very important to get very clear on what you want. Have you heard that at all lately? Or?
I actually did.
Oh, did you? Oh, good.
I did. I have a couple of friends who follow, the zodiac and lunar cycle and that sort of thing, and they're always telling me what's happening and where the moon is, and what shifts are happening within the cycle of life, and it's very fascinating.
I love all that stuff. And so it's funny because there's always something going on. You think, okay, there's always something going on, but it always feels like something's going on, or it's the right kind of gives reason to something. Sometimes when you go through challenges, you go, okay, now I understand why I'm just going to do that. Or is it going to get better? We like it to get better. We want to know
some full moons make people like really crazy, and and they build for like a couple of days beforehand, and you kind of feel it around people around you. Oh, I do anyway. But
well, they do put on more police in full moons.
And full moons, the maternity wards fill up because it brings on labour.
Wow. See, I didn't know that. So
yes, I spent quite a few months with my second pregnancy in hospital in the maternity ward, and every full moon it would be at capacity.
Wow, that's
And they
amazing.
told me, the midwife said, it's a full moon, it brings on babies.
Because the other thing too is that if you're starting a venture, it's really great to start in the full moon versus the waning moons. Oh. So there's a different energy pool, but that's as far as I know about that. So I'll keep you posted on that one. So the next one is the shift list. So what was the biggest or most important shift in your life?
I think there's been a series of shifts in my life. I don't think I could actually pinpoint something really super specific. I think I grew up in a country town in Victoria, so moving to Melbourne, from my beautiful, sheltered, innocent childhood was certainly a big shift for me. I learned a lot about people. I was working in the modelling industry. I was travelling the world. So I grew up really, really quickly in a very short space of time. And I spent a lot of time, I was kind of having some sicknesses along the way. I had sort of diagnosed with chronic fatigue and that sort of thing. And it turns out I actually had an underlying heart condition that was just not diagnosed at the time. But I learned a lot. I read a lot. I really invested time in learning about nutrition and health and mindfulness before it was called mindfulness.
Oh, wow, yes.
So I read a lot of, like self-improvement books, I think they're called now.
Yes, yes.
But they were just, really, lots of philosophical reading and that sort of thing, and really spent a lot of time working on myself, and how I could be my best self in this world and to be really comfortable within myself. So when it did shift, then my career started to really shift. And I shifted from modelling into television, and then I started working on Getaway, and that was like another shift again. And then there's always been like little shifts with breakups and with challenges along the way, like friendship challenges and that sort of thing. And I think when you're challenged, that's when I really find that I have more significant emotional shifts, where I really learn something about myself and about human beings, and grow from that, and really try and develop like sometimes resilience, I should say, or, grow within myself and be more at peace and more comfortable with myself.
Because it's great to talk about that there's a whole series, which we know there's a whole series of shifts that happen for all of us. Was there a particular linchpin or something in that first stage when you found out, like you discovered that you wanted to investigate more about who you were? Was there anything that made you kind of go, oh, like, set it off? Was there something in there? Or?
Well, I think I'd felt, like I said, I'd had this beautiful childhood that I was so sheltered and so innocent, and I think that's probably one of the greatest gifts you can give to a child. Yeah. But it was a rude awakening for me, because my parents, they're very conservative and loving, and have that beautiful country value and mentality. And then I was working in this very aggressive dog-eat-dog, superficial world, and it was a real shock to me. And so it sort of made me, I felt like I was in a bit of a spin, and I needed ways and tools to cope with that, and to be less sensitive about not taking everything to heart in that world. So I did like Reiki courses and yoga courses, and I spent a lot of time exploring different types of spirituality and education in psychology, and again nutrition and wellness as a whole and as a collective, so that I was really in tune with myself. And I think it's been the greatest thing that I've ever done, because I accidentally did it to learn to cope. And then it's been one of the greatest tools for me moving forward in my whole life, is just being connected with myself.
But that was very young for you to do. How old were you when you did that?
Well, I was 18 when I first moved out of home. So I was living by myself in a new city. And so, it was just one of those things. I just sort of had to grow up. But I've always been the kind of person who's danced to the beat of my own drum. I've just always, it's just the mindset that I always was. Not that I was, defiant or anything like that. I just never needed.
The strong 18-year-old that actually knew to find that. It's like even when the other night we were talking to Sue Smithers, who knew to bring back books from New York, like these books at 18. I'm like, where did that come from? So there is some magic time that I think happens when we're at that age.
And it's so easy to do it at that time too, because you're not sort of weighted down by everything else that's sort of gone on through
I know, there's no baggage.
Yes.
We'll have baggages we collect along the way. I know I've got mine. So the best advice you've ever received?
Look, I'm a massive collector of quotes, inspirational quotes. Yep. And I live by a lot of them, and I think a lot of them are very, very cliche. Yep. But when you really break it down, it really rings true. So one of the things I live by is the grass is green where you water it. If you always do what you've always done, then you always get what you've always got. Ooh, and again, it's about being flexible, and you can't sit and say, why poor me, if you're not prepared to make a change or change the way you think to make things better for you. And I kind of have a feeling, like another vibe that if you're not prepared to change your life will find a way to change it for you.
Oh, that's so true.
And I think deep down, and what you think you create. Yeah. So deep down, if you have this longing for something to be different, I find that it ends up manifesting it.
It is, and it's funny because I had a vision for what I wanted to do like 6-7 years ago, and then it kind of went away, and then it's come back and it's the same thing. I'm thinking, God, it just doesn't go away. You have that vision, it'll be there, and it's, I love that. I love that. Great today. So tell me, what is your best tool?
My best tool, I've kind of already touched on it,
Yes.
is knowing yourself,
Yep.
listening to your intuition and your inner voice, and with that, coping tools come. So for me, sometimes, you know, if I listen to myself, one day, you know, I might just want to close the blinds, lie in bed, and binge watch TV, and that's going to make me feel better. Another time, I really just want to get, you know, I want to get something happening, so I go for a run, you know, or I do a yoga class, or I go and get a massage, or I go out for a glass of wine with a girlfriend. I think, you know, I don't think there's a right and wrong answer to what is the best, you know, way to cope with something. I think it's about knowing what works for you, and sometimes it's not always the same thing.
See, that's where people go, and it's a little bit of a bugbear for me, where they go, okay, you go out and meditate, that's great for you. And it just doesn't work for some people. And so it's got to resonate with what's going to make you feel good. And I love that you've said that, because I think that is so important, to find the thing that works for you. You know, absolutely true. Love that advice. So tell me, the next thing is your favourite Australian product.
I've actually got two in front of me,
Oh
believe
my
it or not, and I
goodness,
didn't
she
realise the second one wasn't Australian product. Because when we
okay.
first had an initial
Yes.
discussion about tonight, you said, why don't you have a drink that you would be drinking around this
Oh
time
yes, because
of
we have
night?
the nightcap as well.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yes.
I'll talk
This-
about that. But this happens to be part of my nightcap.
Oh, okay. Tell
One
me.
of them I can't live without is this is a local Sydney girl. She started this. Her grandparents were sheep farmers. Say that 10 times. And you know, her father was really into the benefits of lanolin, and she learned all about lanolin when she was a child. And she's created a product called Lanolips, which is lanolin based.
Oh, I've heard of that.
It's made in Australia. It's Australian owned. It's by Sydney Girl, and all the ingredients are all natural. And I'm one of the things I'm really interested in at the moment is chemicals in food and in skincare products and that sort of thing. And some of them are. It is horrific.
Horrific.
I know. Like there is no other way to describe it. That they are allowed in them, and B no one's doing anything about it. So this is something that doesn't have any of the nasties in it, and I really love using it.
No, we'll definitely put that on the post where to get it, because I would like to try some myself.
It's great, and it doesn't dry your lips out, because I find a lot of lipsticks, because they do have all those bits and pieces of things in there, that like preservatives and all that sort of stuff.
I just didn't
they
even
end up making your
realise.
lips drier.
And I actually put on some lipstick from my wedding, you know, which was nearly 9 years ago, and I suddenly went, oh my God, like that's absorbed into my mouth. Like, I mean, that's not very good. I think you're meant to throw it out.
Yeah, you do end up consuming some of it as well, because it's on your mouth.
On your mouth. So yes, I'm definitely going to be looking at that. Thank you very much. And then now we have the nightcap. What is your nightcap?
This is fun. It's an Australian product.
Oh.
And I swear by this, if you have any type of sleeping issue or insomnia, I discovered this when I was pregnant with my first daughter. It's basically a magnesium formula. And this one has a few other little bits and pieces in it which aid sleep as well, all natural. And this one's called Ultra Muscle Ease Night, so it's rest and recharge. And you just have a scoop of that each night before bedtime. It's really good for rehydrating your muscles. The benefits of magnesium are they haven't quite perfected the lemon flavour.
It was more than I probably just snorted in some powder. But no, magnesium, and this is a fantastic brand. I know this brand, and very, very good, because often with people with neck problems and spasms, and in fact is exactly what I need, because I have a different one that is not
great.
that one.
And so, you know, you don't need any other type of sleep aid. I find that that's all you need.
Love.
When you have a difficulty and you have cramps, muscle cramps. Even my daughter had a cramp the other day. Obviously she needed some water. That's the first thing I do. Give them water. Yes. But I keep magnesium capsules, and I just put it in her milk and warm it up at night time. It's also very, very good for children, for sleeping, but also for concentration and keeping, you know, the calmness and anxiety and that sort of thing. So
because magnesium is a huge benefit on many levels, which I didn't even realise. I thought it was just a muscular thing, but in fact, of course, we have muscles everywhere.
It's actually really good for your heart as well.
Really good for your heart. Let's tell my husband about that. See if he has a heart. So heart, okay, very good. Love that. Could keep talking about that all the time. Affirmation. So we're going to pull a little card and get you to shuffle. And I was just saying before that these cards are for all of us, to have a great day tomorrow. Please shuffle. And it is about just finding something that will help you find whatever's going on at the moment. I find that it's really interesting when I've pulled a lot in a group or in a workshop, and each person that pulled one would go, oh my God, that's just so amazing, apt for what was going on.
Can't pull one. I'm trying to do it. I'm just trying to pull one out, and they're all sticking. Hang on. Oh, they all want to come to me.
What does it say?
I am happy because.
Oh, that's beautiful. So this is for all of us. So the idea is that you think about why you're feeling happy today. And the wonderful thing about that is, like I can say for me, if I think about it, I'm feeling happy because, actually I was thinking about that in the shower this morning. I felt that I'm really happy because I've learned to find true gratitude, and I just am so grateful for any moments. I think when you go through challenging times, that all the good little simple moments just are joy. Do you know what I mean?
I do. I really do, actually.
And
because
so
I feel like I've had a shift
Yes.
myself and really experiencing true gratitude at the moment. So
Oh, good, because it's really like each moment when I have, you know, whatever it is that's going on, I just feel that happiness, and that's a very new for me. So I felt that this morning. So you have to find the thing for you that why you feel happy. As I mentioned last night, that there may be the moment, I don't feel happy. I don't feel happy. And this is the tool to make the shift for you, to find that thing in your mind where you go, okay, well, my dog makes me happy, or my beautiful child makes me happy, or my parents make me happy, or whatever it is. So you find the thing for you, and that's a card to have a great day. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
thank you so much for having me.
Oh, look, it's a pleasure. And we're just about to do our podcast, so I'm going to put that up later tonight to hear full story about Kelly and her life, because I want to know all about her, and I'm sure you do too, and what's behind your start in life and how you ventured through. So have a look and check it out, and have a great day tomorrow, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. I'm going to be at the Hotel Centennial with Justin North in the kitchen, so that will be lots of fun. So stay tuned, see you then, and thank you.
Thank you.